meet and to learn about inspiring stories, experiences, and projects that our esteemed guests will share with us via videos. We are very pleased and honored to welcome our esteemed guests, Ms. Reem Siam. She is founder of Web Middle East from Egypt. Ms. Ala Hamadou, she is owner of Solar Food from Sudan. Ms. Sandra Abi Shaheen, she is fashion strategy and communications consultant from Lebanon. Also, we have with us Ms. Benedicta Nanyonga. She is executive director of Kinawataka Women Initiatives from Uganda, Africa. And Ms. Sania Abdul Al, she is owner Perfectly Pressed from Bahrain. And without further delay, we would like to start by listening to an inspiring story and insights of Ms. Reem Siam. She is founder of Middle East from Egypt. So I would like to ask my colleague, Mr. Anas, to share the video with us. Can we just check the sound? So until my colleague fixed the technical problem, I would like to inform our audience that some of the speakers and testimonials are here with us. So if you want to address some questions, comments, you can just write it in the chat box, but you have to write also to whom you are addressing the question. Thank you so much. So still, the sound is not clear. I think Ms. Reem Siam is with us. Ms. Reem? So until we fix the problem, could you please introduce yourself and your institution to our audience, if possible?
Yes, my name is Reem Siam. I am entrepreneur, Egyptian entrepreneur, and I have a company called Web International Middle East Limited, and through my company, I created a platform for women to let them marketing their products and open for them new markets abroad, not in their countries. So it's a platform to link all women entrepreneurs and in under one roof in one place. I put into action SDG 5 in this project, so gender equality and women empowerment. And for this project, I was nominated to as a
Yes, please, Ms. Reem, I can hear you.
As one of women's success story. I was nominated by UNIDO ITP of Bahrain as a women empowerment success story. So I hope that the video will play so you can see what I did.
Just a quick question. Can you just share with us the website of your organization via the chat box? Because a lot of participants are always asking about those institutions.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to give the floor for my colleague, Mr. Anas, to show us the video, please.
موازيا في العمل الاجتماعي بمدينة الإسكندرية ما منحها إحدى الجوائز العالمية.
لكن الصدفة وحدها هي التي جعلت من ريم صيام أول امرأة عربية تحصل على جائزة الشرق الأوسط في برنامج البحث عن المرأة الديناميكية، وهي الجائزة التي تمنحها جامعة جورج واشنطن.
Reem Siam, who was the first person from the Middle East as a dynamic woman to share her story and serve as a role model for other women in that region.
Went beyond what she needed to do for her own success and seeks out how to bring success to other female future leaders.
Thank you so much, Ms. Reem, for sharing with us such a motivating video. I believe many participants will learn from your story and will benefit from your institution. Thank you so much. I guess some of our participants will send some questions. We will keep it for the end of the program.
Okay.
Second testimonial will be from an amazing owner of Solar Foods from Sudan, Ms. Ala Hamatu.
Hi, I'm Ala Hamatu. I graduated from Khartoum University, Faculty of Dentistry. I have been working in the medical field for 4 years before heading to business as a woman entrepreneur in the field of food processing, with emphasis to the use of solar food drying using technology developed by my father, Professor Saleh Hamatu, as I wanted to keep his legacy. In 2017, Solar Food was established to help in reducing the horrendous post-harvest waste and moving forward toward attaining food security. Solar Food is a pioneering, eco-friendly food company. We use high-efficiency automated solar energy dryer for drying organic vegetables, fruits, and meat. Our factory premises is in industrial area in Khartoum North. We were the winner in MIT Pan-Arab competition 2018 and was nominated among the top 50 startups in the world by Challenge Cup in Washington, D.C. 2018. In 2019, we were the only exhibitor in the Arabic and African startup exhibitor in the Global Food Innovation Summit in Milan. And in 2020, we were exhibitor in Gulf Food. And now our products are already in all big supermarkets in Saudi Arabia. Coming from a medical background, it was really challenging to master business. So I was privileged to be selected by the UNIDO to join the UNIDO Entrepreneur Development Program in 2018. And again, I was privileged to be selected by the UNIDO to represent all Sudanese entrepreneurs in the World Export Development Forum in Addis Ababa, and to be a speaker in the Youth Employment Summit. This year was of a great challenge to our company because of the COVID-19. We have to change in our operation and to work on shift, besides reducing our operation costs without cutting off or reducing any of our employee or staff. So my advice to female entrepreneurs is you can have it all: a family, a career, and a great startup. Just keep doing things in parallel, solve something meaningful, don't be afraid, always get feedback to validate your business, have a mentor, and always listen to your customer.
Many thanks to Ms. Ala Hamatou from Sudan for such inspiring words and thoughts and nice experience as well. I believe that for young people, it is always important to learn how to elaborate ideas and projects, because it is the step where you create the initial project plan. And at ICYF, we are doing this through a project called the Young Business Hub, where we help young people to elaborate their projects and connect them with businessmen and the institutions who are able to sponsor and support their project. So we advise you to visit the website and to learn more about the opportunities that ICYF is providing for young entrepreneurs from OIC region and beyond. And now I would like to go to a next story of Miss Sandra Abi Shaheen. She's fashion strategy and communications consultant from Lebanon.
Hello, this is Sandra Abi Shaheen. I am a fashion communications consultant. To tell you a little background about me, I have been in the fashion industry for the past 9 years now. I've started my journey in corporate organizations. I started at Leo Burnett in Beirut, where I worked as a PR executive for a year, and then wanting to move outside of Lebanon and to pursue a career in fashion, I joined Chanel head office in Dubai, and then Dior office in Dubai, where I have been working for the past 4 years of my corporate life. In 2018, for personal reasons, I have decided to leave Dubai and move to Kuwait. And since then, I have been freelancing on my own for a lot of smaller brands, but also consulting for the big brands such as Dior, where I took big projects with them and kept on consulting for them. Just recently, in March 2020, I have decided to officially launch my own consultancy, my own company, amid the entire Corona situation and the pandemic. Honestly, a lot of people were asking me if I am sane to take such a decision in such critical times where the entire world is facing an economic crisis. To be honest with you, I saw an opportunity in the middle of this pandemic, and it's the COVID situation that inspired me to launch on my own and to focus really on sustainable fashion, because during this lockdown, I felt everyone was awakened to the importance of maintaining our environment, of being sustainable, of living sustainably, of consuming sustainable products. And I saw the lack in the Middle East region, where not a lot of people are aware of the importance of sustainable fashion. In fact, fashion is really an industry that is sadly very harmful to the environment. It's the second most polluting industry after oil and gas. So what I wanted to do is really to introduce sustainable fashion to the region, educate, if I may say, the Middle Eastern clientele on the importance of wearing sustainable clothes. And so this is when I decided to launch on my own and really focus and research on sustainable brands. Now, the real issues or setbacks that I've faced ever since is, of course, the cut in budgets for all the brands. Like I've done so many pitches. A lot of brands came back to me saying, let's talk towards beginning of 2021 or end of 2020, because of the current situation. Of course, marketing and the retail industry are, of course, affected a lot. But that didn't stop me from keeping on pursuing this dream that I have, because I do believe that, like any crisis, at some point the entire industry is gonna pick up again. And I really believe in this mission of sustainable fashion, which in my opinion is really the future of fashion. Now, to talk a little bit about the background of what I do, basically I set communication plans for and strategies for brands, everything related to the image. So everything you see in the magazines, photo shoots, interviews with the designers behind the brands, but also everything you see on social media, which is now a key marketing tool nowadays. So digital communication strategies, but also working with influencers, which are a big part of the marketing strategy nowadays. Now, if I want to talk a little bit of how Unido helped me in really and empowered me as a young entrepreneur woman, it's basically by giving me the opportunity to be part of the global women in fashion virtual show that took place a couple of weeks back, if I'm not mistaken. Honestly, it was an honor for me to be part of such a community of young entrepreneurial and strong women, especially in a community or in a market or a region where women are not the key people behind entrepreneurial ideas. So for me, that was a great empowering statement and a great opportunity. And to be also today part of this testimonial and of this great opportunity is also a big empowering for me. And I would like to say, and I would like to see actually bigger opportunities happening in the region, empowering women and giving women a voice to speak and to empower each other, of course. Now, if I wanted to talk about answering the question regarding what measurements have I taken during the COVID-19 lockdown, which we are still living nowadays, it's mainly working from home. But to my advantage, my work can really be done virtually. I've been on Zoom meetings non-stop ever since the lockdown, and it's made really brands realize, and all companies realize, that everything can be done virtually, and that giving freedom for employees or consultants to work from wherever they are is really key, because a lot of people are more productive at home than at an office. So I can be really working from anywhere and just accomplishing the work and like upon accomplishing the deliverables. So I think this has COVID-19 and the lockdown has revolutionized not only the consultancy and entrepreneur field, but also the entire corporate world, because a lot of people and a lot of companies will have a more flexible strategy with their employees moving forward, and that, in my opinion, would lead to bigger productivity for the brands. Now, lastly, my last message to all women entrepreneurs is to trust their guts. Really, there's never the right time for to be launching something, because there will always be a setback somehow, or someone telling you cannot make it, or a situation, or a pandemic, or a financial crisis. So there's never an ideal time to do things. Just trust your gut feeling, stay ambitious and stay determined mostly, because nothing else will push you other than this gut feeling you have to do your best. And best of luck to everyone who is thinking or willing to launch on their own. And at the end of the day, it's never a loss. You try, you launch, you pursue, you stay determined, and if it doesn't work out for you, it's not the end of the world. At least you would have tried, and you would have given it your best. Thank you once again for making me part of this seminar, and for taking my virtual testimonial, hoping that it might empower other women to pursue their dreams. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sandra Abi Shaheen from Lebanon, for the wonderful message that you shared with our participants. I guess a lot of participants are very interested in such domain and experience, not only as entrepreneurs, but also as females. You mentioned a brief and deep message on how to find an opportunity during the crisis. Thank you so much, Ms. Sandra. Now I would like to give the floor for Ms. Benedicta Nanyoga, inspiring story. She is the executive Kinwataka Women Initiative from Uganda.
Benedicta Nanyonga, the founder of Kinwataka Women Initiatives. I'm 73 years, a very old woman, but very young girl in the entrepreneurship sector. I worked with the Bank of Uganda for the last 23 years. When I left the Bank of Uganda, as per my advice from the doctor, I had a spinal cord. I went back home. 2001, when I left the Bank of Uganda, I started mobilizing my fellow women at Kinwataka Women Initiatives. As it is a slum area, women, they just sit without doing anything. So we started collecting straws from drainage, from depot, from garbage center, from hotels, and we wash them with the detergent. Then after washing them, we make a product which is unique, durable, and washable, and we sell them. Our product, we are selling them from here in Uganda and also outside Uganda, whereby they have really encouraged us to make more products. The problem is a straw pressing machine. We are using a knife, local knife, to press the straw flat and straight, which is very cumbersome. Thank you, UNIDO. Really, we are appreciating UNIDO Bahrain for calling us for meetings, conferences, where we have met women from different countries and advise us, and we have followed their advice, which has helped us to grow our business. And we are really appreciating. This time we have COVID. COVID is a disease which is in Uganda, not only Uganda, but all over the world. But what we did for us is to send our women to their respective homes so that they do our work at their homes. They report once in a week to bring what they have finished. And also we have told them to make masks and give to people so that they prevent spreading the COVID. Women who want to join us to be recycling any product, call it bottles, clothes, straws, they have to like the work, what they are going to do, all to determine, because recycling is not easy work. Recycling is a very difficult work because most of the used product, the used material, they are dirty. So somebody have to determine and have to like her work so that he gains from the work which she's doing. I'm really thanking UNIDO Bahrain. If it was not them, I wouldn't have been talking in front of you. But we thank him, we thank the organizer, we thank those people who thought about Chinawataka so that we share our product, our initiatives with other women all over the world. We appreciate. We shall continue working with the UNIDO Bahrain wherever there is a chance. We appreciate. We appreciate. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Many thanks, Ms. Benedicta. I believe our participants are benefiting from such positive and productive experiences from the MENA region and Sub-Saharan Africa. I advise all the esteemed participants to visit the websites of the institutions participating with us in the program. Last but not least, we would like to learn from the story of Miss Sania Abdulal. She is owner, Perfectly Pressed from Bahrain.
Hello everyone, my name is Sania Abdulal and I'm one of the founders of Perfectly Pressed Juice. My journey started while I was earning my bachelor's degree in Switzerland several years ago as I was discovering my passion for fresh foods. From then on, I worked in around Europe and in the GCC in the Middle East. And I discovered while I was abroad that I actually have a sensitivity to lactose, which led me to change my milk rather than to change my habit of enjoying my favorite dairy foods. This is actually how Perfectly Pressed started, as a small project from home, and then we took it one step further. As I joined the UNIDO, I started learning about different ways about the local market and how to set up a business in this local climate. My journey started in concept in 2014. I knew that I wanted to offer fresh foods to people, and I knew that I wanted to offer them basically a healthier way to live their lives in terms of their food choices. I just wasn't sure where to start and how to start. I did the course with the UNIDO in 2014, and upon completing the course, I was still stumbling around and looking for different ways on how to start my business. In between 2015 and 16, I was still within the deep concept phases, and I started from home. I started juicing from home, and that's around that time I met my business partner. And we decided basically to scale and to move into a facility. Around that time, the UNIDO had introduced me to the BBIC, which is where me and my business partner decided to set up our initial operation. And today we are a cold pressed juice factory housed in the BBIC. I believe my greatest accomplishment is actually the stories I hear from my clients. That's actually, for me, is the most refreshing part of running a business in the industry. When a client comes to me and tells me that they actually have had some serious illness and I'm helping them to cope with that, or that their family member is having a serious health issue and this is helping them basically progress, this is actually what I believe to be my greatest accomplishments. However, on the business scale of accomplishments, we are supplying about 50 locations, and we have secured an investment to set up in a neighboring Middle Eastern country from foreign investors. That's basically one of the accomplishments that we've reached, that we are growing into other markets at the moment. In addition, one of the things I believe to be a great accomplishment is that at Perfectly Pressed, we operate as per our values. And I believe that that's actually a great achievement, because that's the blueprint of how we operate, and gratefully that has resulted in great success. To go a bit more in depth about how the UNIDO has actually helped us flourish, I stumbled upon the UNIDO in 2014 before I had actually started my business. I took a few courses and it redirected my thinking by introducing me to how the local market operates. They introduced me to a network of entrepreneurs, and they helped me to form a more solid idea on how to actually start my business in the region. In addition, they also offered me counseling and support so that I can figure out how to actually attain suppliers, how to explore different people in the region, to contact different people in the region, to have a network. For me, this I found very valuable. In addition to that, the UNIDO actually hosted our factory opening here at the Bahrain Business Incubator Center. The UNIDO, along with its network of entrepreneurs, set up our factory opening, in addition to many events that we are continuously included in, such as this conference that I'm speaking in right now. COVID-19 was actually a very difficult time and unpredictable time for the whole world, as it was very difficult to predict the next happenings and where we are generally in terms of supplying, in terms of the business. It was actually a difficult time since the HoReCa industry was put on hold, which is the hotels, restaurants, and recreational facilities, etc., which is actually most of the places that we supply, such as cafes, etc. We were lucky enough to be supplying the supermarkets, which we focused on, and we tried to excel in doing so. We were also fortunate to be in the health food sector, which enabled us to be able to help more people and to provide our nutritious, basically, foods to more people, due to the fact that people were actually focused more on their health, on what they were feeding into their bodies. And what we did was we actually tried to improve on that. So we created a specific, let's say, product simply for this time, where we were to support people's immunity and their lung health. For us, COVID was an unpredictable time, which showed us that we could actually adapt, especially since as I was continuing my studies abroad to get my nutritionist degree, we were already working remotely with our team. Me and my business partner were doing most of our work through Zoom and similar apps to share our records and our progress and our operations online. So it wasn't difficult to adapt to changing and shifting our business model to online, because we had already started. However, the shift, as difficult as it was doable. And we did it. We are continuing to do so online until the situation gets better. My advice to young women who are just completing their studies is just start. The time is now. Now is the right time, because there's no perfect time, there's no perfect way. Once you start, things will start to unfold, and you will actually learn the best way forward. That's the first bit of advice. The second thing I would say is try to be as consistent as you can. Consistency breeds success. There's no secret about this. This is one of the biggest facts that you can know about success. Another thing I would say to women who are encouraged to start something in the manufacturing industry, since I was named by the UNIDO as one of the first women in manufacturing in fresh foods in Bahrain. It's not an easy task. Manufacturing is not easy, and it's there are so many different aspects of this business that will make you wonder why you started in the first place. But it's such a pleasurable industry to be in, and as I mentioned, you have to be consistent. You're constantly learning, you're constantly discovering new things, different processes, different ways of adapting, different ways of creating foods. At the moment, I'm actually doing my naturopathy degree in the College of Natural Medicine because I wanted to improve the quality of my product. So it's a constant way of improving yourself, and it's a constant way of improving your product, certifying for health certificates, learning new processes. It's definitely not an easy task. It's not for the faint-hearted. However, it's worth it when you have someone come up to you in a certain situation and they will say to you, you know, you helped me, for example, heal this health issue. Or someone can actually come to you and say a family member uses your products because this has improved their health immensely since they were not doing so well. Or maybe somebody who was doing well and is really happy to have this offered at such an easy way to just grab one of those healthy products off the shelves. So my advice for young women is start now. It's not easy, there's no perfect time, just start.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sania, for this wonderful message and for sharing your nice experience with us. Actually, ICYF and UNIDO IPTO are doing an amazing job when it comes to supporting young entrepreneurs. And as ICYF, we are implementing some projects under the pillar of youth economic development, like I mentioned before, Young Business Hub, Investment Summit, where we connected young people with financial institutions to guide and to support them. And also we are organizing a vocational and training program which focuses on the skills required for a particular job functions. And by this project, we are helping youth to get the necessary skills and capabilities in order to find a job opportunity in their country. So thank you so much, Ms. Sania. And now I would like to open the floor for the questions. And the first question is for Ms. Sania Abdulal. The question is saying, as known, Perfectly Pressed is a health and environment-friendly brand. How your brand balance between benefits and costs? Do the health and environment-friendly productions mean too many costs every time? Ms. Sania? Could you please open your microphone? Unfortunately, I can't hear you. Still, it's closed. I think I will give another question to another speaker. Then I will be back to you, Ms. Sania. This question is for to all speakers from Rehab Nas. According to your experience, what do women need the most to reach her goal as a successful entrepreneur? I think Ms. Reem can answer this question, or Ms. Ala. Ms. Reem?
Yes.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
Okay, please.
Okay. According to your experience, what do women need the most to reach her real goal as a successful entrepreneur?
They need first to build how to build their self-confidence and to overcome their negative self-talk, so they can be able to enter the market and build their product.
Thank you, Ms. Rim. Next question is to Miss Ala, or Ala, I guess. How can female entrepreneurs attract financing? Miss Ala, could you please open your microphone? Okay, let's try again with Miss Sania. I hope that microphone now is open. Still it's closed.
Miss Sania, can you please make sure that your microphone is connected to your computer?
Yes. I think still we cannot have the answer. Is Miss Ala with us? Miss Ala, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Could you please answer this question until Miss Sania solve the technical problem? So the question is saying, how can female entrepreneurs attract financing?
For us here in Sudan, I think it's a little bit difficult because we don't have any VCs company or good investment law. But I guess if you from the start, if you establish a great product with great branding, your product will attract the investor, will talk about you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ala. Miss Sania? Still there is the technical problem. Another question for you, Miss Ala. Nowadays, there is a need for sustainable growth of women entrepreneurs. How can we promote a balanced growth in the country and startup? Miss Ala? Can you hear me, Miss Ala? Okay, technical problem. Miss Tanya? Still, we cannot hear you. Can you just write for me in a private message?
I think.
Sorry, yes, now I can hear myself. That's great. We can hear you now.
Okay.
So the first question is the following. As known, Perfectly Pressed is a health and environment-friendly brand. How your brand balance between benefits and costs? Do the health and environment-friendly productions mean too many costs every time?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked this question because this was actually a challenge to start with when we were starting our production line. As it's easier to create it when it's in a smaller batch, but when you start into actually producing for larger quantities, the costs do start to become evident because it's not heavily automated as most products in my product range basically are, because we are trying to create a sustainable product. So yes, the costs are higher, but so are the benefits of the product itself. So in order to create quality, you have to make some sacrifices in that respect. So actually, our business model aims to create accessible products, which means that we try to keep it, we keep the cost as low as we possibly can by reducing our margins. So in effect, the main actual cost would be from manpower, because it's not as automated as as I mentioned, as other products in the same product line. So it's just about reducing your margin and ensuring that you basically find the figures in the volume. That's how I would actually address this question.
Thank you, Ms. Tanya. Another question for you. Nowadays, there is a need for sustainable growth of women entrepreneurs. How can we promote a balanced growth in the country and startup? This is the last question.
How can you create a balanced growth in the country and?
And startup.
and startup.
Yes.
I'm going to separate those two. I'm going to say as a startup, it's important to think of what you are providing as in value. Sure, you can definitely create something that is sustainable, but what value are you actually truly adding to your community, to the people around you? What message are you trying to send by creating that value? What are you trying to solve? This is the question. Creating sustainably, of course, that's something that you have to stick to in terms of your values. Once you've decided these are your values, you're sticking to them. That's generally what you need to do in order to maintain and continue. Sometimes it's, as the previous question, it would be more expensive to produce this way. Sometimes it may be a bit more difficult because it's more work, it's a bit more of a, let's say, lengthier process. There's a lot more involved, but if you are aiming to produce quality, you have to put in that extra bit of work. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much. Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I think we came to the end of today's program. I would like to thank all testimonials who contributed to the content of the session. We value the insights and guidance our guests provided. We appreciate the information and the productive ideas you have shared with us, mainly Ms. Sania, Ms. Ala, and Ms. Reem. Also, to conclude, let me again invite you to follow our social media platform to benefit from the programs and projects we are organizing. Thank you so much. See you soon, inshallah. Bye-bye.
Thank you.